I don't want to scare anybody, but I'm going to give it to you straight about Jason. That sucker loves to steal. I know you think he loves killing. No, he likes killing. He loves stealing, especially from other horror flicks. We all love Jason Voorhees, but these are 10 times that the Friday the 13th franchise has stolen from other properties. Number 10 is all about the very strange, very stolen plot of Jason Goes to Hell. Director Adam Marcus endeavored to make Jason Goes to Hell unlike any Friday before it. He did so by abandoning Jason's classic slasher persona in favor of a more sci-fi body-swapping type of horror. Much of the plot is identical to The Hidden, a body horror film that was released in 1987 and offers various exact comparisons to Goes to Hell. Marcus even tipped his hand by including a crate in one scene that is labeled Arctic Expedition, Julia Carpenter, an homage to John Carpenter's The Thing, in which an alien repeatedly switched hosts. Marcus also admits to taking from The Evil Dead by including a bit about Pamela Voorhees making a demonic deal via a magical book. So I will never understand why they had to go this route with Friday. I get you want to do something different. You want to make this Friday your own and make it stand out to fans, but it's just not a Jason film. That's why it's one of my least favorite films, and it just makes it all the more worse knowing that it's hardly even original. All that body swapping stuff, it was in The Hidden in 1987. It is in John Carpenter's The Thing, and the fact that you openly admit to homaging and borrowing from other films like The Evil Dead, it just really makes it transparent that this film was not wholly original. At number 9, let's talk about the Psycho connection. Victor Miller, the writer of the original Friday the 13th, has admitted to subconsciously borrowing from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. He also admitted to knowingly stealing aspects of Psycho. One such instance might be the Final Girl fake-out. The film's opening would have you believe we'll be following Annie's story, only to soon see her get offed. This subversion of expectation is an unabashed mimicry of what transpires with Marion Crane in Psycho. This has been done multiple times. Of course, the Drew Barrymore opening in Scream is an homage to Psycho. Like I said, it subverts your expectations as an audience member. It makes you feel like anything can happen. No one is safe. So it's a dandy little tactic, but Friday the 13th, of course, did not originate the tactic because it came from Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho. And this is not the last time this list will include a theft of Psycho. For number 8, let's talk about the look of Jason. More casual horror fans only know Jason for his hockey mask, but the diehards know Jason first donned a sack with a single eye hole. This more rudimentary and rural Jason design was hardly original though. 1976's The Town That Dreaded Sundown featured a killer with a sacked head first. And if you've never checked out The Town That Dreaded Sundown, whether it be the original or the rebooted film that came out in, I believe, 2014, I would advise that you do so. There are some really cool kills. There's awesome lore with that story because some of it is based in truth. Some of the events did transpire in actuality, and it does some shocking stuff in that original film. So I'd advise you check it out if you love yourself some slashers. At number 7, Friday the 13th is of course most known for its grisly images, for its creative murders and practical effects. But what if I told you one of the most beloved kills did not originate in Friday the 13th, that they lifted it from another property? One of the most famous kills in Friday the 13th Part 2 is what I refer to as the sex kebab. 2 people are impaled while in the throes of romance. It's a great kill that seems perfectly in line with what Friday is all about. Unfortunately, Mario Bava's Bay of Blood, or The Twitch of the Death Nerve, got there first. Bava's film came out in 1971 and portrays the same exact form of murder by skewering. Sean Cunningham refutes having ever seen Bava's film. So what do you think? Do you think somebody on the filmmaking team for Friday the 13th Part 2 had seen Bava's Bay of Blood or The Twitch of the Death Nerve and was just really impacted by the kill and then inadvertently possibly ripped it off? Or do you think it's all coincidence? Be sure to comment down below. At number 6, let's talk about Jason in space. After the ending of Jason Goes to Hell, the franchise was in limbo as it waited for things to be ironed out for Freddy vs. Jason. The studio decided it needed another Jason film to fill the time. Out of ideas for the franchise, Noel Cunningham and others looked around and realized there was still one last final frontier for Jason: space. Cunningham has directly stated in interviews that he took the idea from franchises like Leprechaun and Hellraiser. He truly hoped his slasher in space would be a notch above though. So how do you feel about Jason X? For me, Jason X is a really good time. It's goofy, it's self-aware, more on that in a second. It's not one of the best films in the franchise, but I don't poo-poo it as much as others want to, so by all means, let me know, do you love Jason X, or are you one of the many that can't stand the thing? At number 5, we'll continue on with Jason X, and I mentioned that self-aware meta nature. Noel Cunningham thought they could overcome the goofy premise by playing it very straightforward and pushing a dark, gritty atmosphere. The only problem was Scream had come out in 1996 and it exploded. Scream's self-aware meta nature seemed to really strike a chord with audiences, meaning Cunningham couldn't have the Jason X he wanted, as the studio was constantly scrapping scripts and demanding more Scream be pumped into the latest Jason. Dialogue, full scenes, and kills were all reworked to be more so true to Ghostface than Jason. And I know I talked about having some love for Jason X, but this really does dismay me as a fan of the franchise as a whole, because as much as I love that goofiness and the aesthetic of Jason X, imagine it being a little bit more serious and daring to take a goofy premise and to actually make it scary and to make it work, to make it feel more like Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter, perhaps. I think that would be incredible and would have made it a superior film to the Jason X that we got. At number 4, you probably already know all about this if you are a big old Jason Voorhees fan, but one of the most famous scenes in all of Friday the 13th, the entire franchise, is outright lifted from another most beloved horror film. After viewing a rough cut of the original Friday, Sean Cunningham decided something was missing. The ending needed more punch. This is when the creative team decided they would outright steal from Carrie. Cunningham touted the ethereal, dreamy ending to Carrie that delivers one last immense jump scare to really leave a lasting impression on viewers. Thus, Jason popping out of the water and grabbing Alice was born. Which scene do you prefer? The Carrie or the Friday ending? I have to say, even though I know it's wrong because it's stolen, I prefer the ending in Friday the 13th. That one pops way more. I've never actually cared for the ending to Carrie. I think it wraps up so well without that weird dream ending. I think the dream ending works better for Friday, and I actually think it's shot better when you have Harry Manfredini's like soft, dulcet tones coming in. It seems so peaceful. It feels like we have resolution and Alice is safe. What a nice little ending, and then boom, 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 Jason comes out of the water. What the hell is that? Oh my God, what am I seeing? Thou art shooketh. At number 3, we're just going to keep on stealing from good old Carrie. By the late 80s, many were clamoring for Jason to be pitted against Freddy Krueger. There were many leaps and hurdles to making this happen, though, so the franchise instead created their own Carrie White. Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood, gave fans Tina, a young girl with a tragic backstory who lives alone with her mother, desperately seeks the acceptance and friendship of others who in turn torment her, and oh yeah, she also possesses telekinetic powers that fluctuate with her emotions. Sound like anyone? Now this may be a good bit of Grand Theft cinema, but I just don't mind it. Friday the 13th Part 7, The New Blood was one of the first Fridays I saw, so the nostalgia is strong with this one for me, but outside of that, I just think it's one of the most entertaining Fridays. Putting someone like Carrie against Jason, it just works. I think their showdown in the third act is one of the best showdowns Jason has with any of the final girls. It's just a really good damn time that I always enjoy sitting back and taking in. John Carl Buechler has one of the best designed Jasons, and Kane Hodder killed it in his debut as Jason Voorhees. So where do you put this amongst your franchise ranking? If you want to see my franchise ranking, I'll go ahead and tag it right here. Just a little hint here. Yeah, Part 7 is going to fare well in that ranking. At number 2, let's talk about Pamela Voorhees and her little mama's boy, Jason. Earlier I mentioned that writer Victor Miller isn't shy about having borrowed from Psycho. The killer herself, Pamela Voorhees, is a huge example of this. Miller essentially inverted the relationship of mother and son in Psycho for the OG Friday. Instead of a psychologically broken son communicating to his dead mother and murdering for her, we get Pamela speaking to and acting as Jason, all the while murdering counselors in his memory. The dynamics and relationships cannot be ignored, and even Victor Miller would vouch for that. And actually, if you want to see him vouch for that, you can watch this amazing documentary on all things Friday the 13th called Crystal Lake Memories. I recently watched this. It's like 6.5 hours of amazing content that any die-hard Friday the 13th fan should consume. They take you through the entire franchise one by one. They're bringing back all the different cast members, people on the creative teams. You get interviews with Tom Savini, Sean Cunningham, Noel Cunningham, Kane Hodder, so on and so forth. So be sure to check out Crystal Lake Memories if you love you some Jason. Number 1, Friday the 13th was born out of thievery. The first Friday was a result of Sean Cunningham calling his creative partner and outright stating, "Halloween was made for dirt cheap and it's making tons of money. Let's rip it off." With that as the conception for the franchise, it's really no wonder it would go on to so unabashedly borrow from anyone and everyone in the genre. Like, love, or abhor Friday, there's no denying it stole from Halloween and countless others before ultimately being stolen from by other subgenre slasher flicks. So there you have it. There's my list of 10 times Friday the 13th stole from other films. Be sure to comment down below your thoughts on this video. If you liked it, please, by all means, like and subscribe so you can get more content such as this. Other than that, though, you have a fantastic day. I'm Nate for natemareflix saying that's a wrap.